What did you accomplish this quarter? What we don't want is a year goes by without reflection. I'm gonna open it up for some wins.
I'm bringing in $15,000 per contract signed.
Cold calling essentially is what I've been doing.
I just posted on a lot of Facebook groups.
The key word of her whole thing is, which most of us drop the ball, is responsive.
Whatever you do, you want me to do, I'll follow your lead because I know it works.
Happy Friday, guys. It's the end of the quarter, right? So we want to look at the year in quarters. So really, I want you guys to first start off with gratitude. What did you accomplish this quarter that moved you towards your goals? But let's reassess and see what we need to work on the rest of the year. What we don't want is a year goes by without reflection, right? Because if we don't have a clear goal, a path towards our goal, and we're not constantly reflecting on a weekly basis and a monthly basis, then what happens is a full year passed and you're like, where did the year go? Did I hit my goals? Did I not hit my goals? So it's really important to have reflection built into your business. Now, I'm going to open it up for some wins. I know Mr. David Knight, he disappeared. We actually had a chat this week, but he's absolutely crushing it. So give us some night motivation out there, Dave. How's the business going for you right now? How are we feeling?
I am feeling absolutely fantastic. Do you know why? Because I'm part of this community and you lead this community, and because of your authority that you bring to this call with such a smile brightens up my day. Because you know, life in this world can be cruel. We get led by a person like yourself who's always bright, got the positiveness. Only good things happen. And you know what, Liz? Whatever you do, you want me to do, I'll follow your lead because I know it works. I'm not going to argue with you. I know it works.
So we actually met this week, Dave, but tell us about like how many deals you've got in the pipe right now, your investment deals.
This is what I know, what can be true for every single one of you. You have a proven playbook. Use it. Don't do whatever you want to do. Use it. It can come true for you. If you want to scale your business, if you want to get deals that where people want to meet with you today or tomorrow, invest in pay per leads. I'm at $9,000 per month. Adili's, she knows I wanted to go to 13. She's like, slow down a little bit, cowboy. Slow down. Now I'm looking into funnels. How can I get more leads coming into my business? And later we're going to go over, hiring more people and having systems in place, a lead manager, operations manager, et cetera, et cetera. But this is what I know. 1 out of 20 leads will lead to a contract signed, whether it be a listing or whether it be a wholesale deal or a purchase to flip. 1 out of every 20 leads. Now, 10 out of those 20 leads will be dead. So, and then of the 20 leads that remain, half of them automatically really don't qualify because they already have an agent and they want top market price, or they're crazy. They want triple times Zillow, and that's fine. All we need every single day is just one really good motivated person who wants to meet with you and is ready to move as long as they feel comfortable with what you have to say. $2,500 is my cost per contract sign. And if I mix in the spreads, my wholesale opportunities or my flip opportunities, the spread in that, and if I mix in also my commissions, which range from anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, on average, I'm bringing in $15,000 per contract signed. 15 times 5, it's $75,000. Times 12, $900,000. That can be true for you, and all of you, as long as you follow this system and invest in leads.
And sometimes I think we overcomplicate it and we're looking for things. David's talking about very simple, just pay per lead. It comes in, get really good at closing, 1 out of 20, and this is your number. So let's look at it. If I spend $3,000 and my average cost per lead for my market is $125, I generated 24 leads, guys. And if I can close 1 out of 20, that's a 5% closing ratio. That means I'm at a total conversion of 1.2. My cost per acquisition, exactly what he was just saying, $2,500. My average commission is $18,000. That means I'm averaging, if I close 1.2 deals per every $3,000, a total revenue of $21,600 for every $3,000 I invest, which nets me $18,600, guys. That's a return on investment of 620%. All right, make sure when you scale and you bring in more leads, leads, because at this point it becomes like an ATM, right? If I can press these numbers, I can pull this much money out, and let me just keep doing it over and over and over again. And that is on a big level what David just outlined for us. Congratulations, my brother.
I also want to share other ways that people are winning in the community, right? We have another person that I'm looking on my screen right now, Miss Tatiana. All she does is dispositions deals, meaning she takes deals that are already under contract, she finds the buyer for it. That's another way that you can close deals. Tati,
Eddie.
tell us a little bit about you, how you go out and find buyers for deals.
So I just basically use, whenever you guys have a VIP deal, I just post it on a lot of Facebook groups. And I think what helps me close deals is the fact that I'm pretty responsive, and I try to respond. Even like if the property has sold, I'll go on Facebook and I respond to everyone. I know that Facebook, I don't know how it really works, but I see that it has like top contributor. So I think that builds credibility, that people know like I'm actually a real person, and you know, I'm responsive and active in these groups. And then again, just kind of being responsive and responding to everyone. Even if the property is sold, sometimes people will tell me, add me to your buyers list, and I kind of get their information and just start building the relationship that way.
Guys, that formula you find in the 7 steps to get a deal and in the Dispo classroom, it is not rocket science. She's just, while she's raising 2 kids, brand new newborn, how many months ago, Tati?
She's 3 months. I'm actually feeding her right now.
3 months, so her time is very limited. She also does TCing. If any of you guys need a transaction coordinator per deal that understands the investor world, reach out to Tati. So in between all that, she literally does this part-time. And if she can find the time to do it between transaction coordinating deals for her clients, raising 2 toddlers, one of them being a 3-month-old, and the key word of her whole thing is, which most of us drop the ball, she is responsive.
Eddie, share your path, right? Because I want to give you guys different roadmaps to get to your goal, to show you that it's not a one-size-fits-all. What are you doing in a day-to-day, Eddie?
Basically, I'm calling probate leads. I use foreclosure daily, call between 9 and 12, cold calling, and I do paper leads. I haven't been able to close anything through there, but cold calling essentially is what I've been doing.
Were you able to get that property assigned, the last one that you got locked up?
No,
Not yet.
I lost it.
It happens, right?
It happens. I knew
Yeah,
it was
so-
a long shot, so I took the, I wanted to try it out and see, but it didn't work out.
When you guys are putting your deals out there on the Dispo side, you're gonna get a lot of people that potentially waste your time, and I see too many people get burnt out by that. Our focus can't be on the people that are wasting time or are not serious. It's digging for gold. We have to move the coal out the way. We have to move the debris out the way to find the gold. And too many people are complaining about their hands getting dirty and cut up and bruised up when they're mining for that gold. But I promise you, if you stick the path and follow a system, whatever that system may be that you're working, the gold is there, but nothing comes easy. So even on the Dispo side, it might sound really great, like, oh, post on a Facebook group and boom, you do a deal. I'm sure when you talk to Tatiana, it's not as simple, right? You get blown up, a lot of people asking questions, a lot of people calling you a scammer, a lot of people saying you guys always have junk deals, it never works, and you gotta have tough skin and not be affected by any of that. That same deal that we have locked up, that Tatiana found the buyer, that they paid a whole lot more than most of the offers we got. And in your Dispo process, when you guys are connecting with buyers, you are playing Cupid. So you gotta think of yourself as a matchmaker, and you need as much eligible bachelors and bachelorettes out there. Get to know what their preferences are, and it's just like dating. But you are the best eHarmony website. You're better than Tinder. You're better than whatever other app that's out there.
Dating
Because
himself with the eHarmony stuff. What even is that,
Okay,
Kev?
Cupid and Tinder. It's like you gotta come together. You gotta bring the old school and you gotta bring the new school. Swipe left and swipe right. Oh, we gotta ask some questions and make them fill out a little bit of a profile to get to know them. That is what you need to do in an organized fashion, whether you're using a spreadsheet or you're using your CRM. but who's buying where? What do they like? What do they want to invest in? Rentals, flips, luxury, apartment buildings. Each person has a preference. And the minute you can get organized and have the multifamily buyers in this area in one section, the apartment buyers in one section, the county buyers in another section, the single family home buyers at a certain price point in another section. Now you can start playing matchmaker. Now when you meet a wholesaler and they have a deal, you can look at your database and say, oh, you know what? I met somebody 3 weeks ago and that's in his buy box. Let me reach out and see if I can't play Cupid and put this together. And there could be a lot of money made and fast if you know how to dispo right. Mario, what you got for me?
I think I got a lead, but I'll let you be the judge of it. So there's a lady who reached out to me because one of my clients bought up a neighbor's home. Both of her homes are tenant occupied. The tenants have been there for like 8 years. She wants to sell the property, to buy a property in San Diego via 1031. She's been a little light with the details other than, how long they lived there. There's been no recent improvements. Doesn't sound like she would entertain a cash offer, but I don't know enough to know enough.
Yeah, you got to get deeper into the motivation to be able to figure out both urgency and motivation. I mean, when you asked her if it's something you guys can come to an agreement, is she definitely ready to sell right now? What did she say?
She wants to sell it, but she also doesn't have a replacement property there in San Diego. However, about 3 days ago, she found out that property came back on, is available now. So she's asking me if my investors would buy it. And I've just limited it to them, but I feel like I need to broaden the conversation so that it's not just about the people that bought the house next to her, but anybody that I can bring to the table.
100%, which is when you control the deal, now you could take it to as many people and first come, first serve. So that is why it's important to also kind of have some basic knowledge on a few different strategies. And with AI now, we all do, right? When you're talking to me, Mario, and you mentioned 1031 exchange, what comes to mind to me is the biggest challenge anybody ever has when it comes to 1031 exchange is that you got to essentially identify within 45 days of selling your property and you close on it, you got to basically say, I'm going to buy one of these 3 properties so that you can fall within the IRS guidelines to be able to transfer the profit you just made by selling the house into the new house. That's tough, guys. When you got 45 days to decide which deal you want to buy, that's pressure, because what if I don't like something? What if I can't find the one I want and I'm trying to avoid paying Uncle Sam taxes on this profit, but I can't find a deal? So most 1031 exchange people, what they want is to be able to find a deal but not feel the pressure that they have 45 days. So they almost want like a guaranteed contract and then have the time to find the one they want, put it under contract, and be able to do a simultaneous closing without the pressure of, oh man, the clock is ticking and I haven't found a deal. So if I'm negotiating and that's their motivation to buy something in San Diego, my question to you, Mario, is what's so important about San Diego? Is it a family? Is it a job? Or is it just because I like it and it's beautiful there and I always wanted to live there? Or my daughter just had a baby and I want to be there because I'm the grandmother? Not so much pressure, but motivation. I want to retire there. It's where I've always wanted to live. I've wanted to live there for 10 years already. That's pleasure, not pressure, right? Like at any point in time, she wants to live there. So depending on what the true motivation is, now can I structure a agreement with her where it's a good enough deal for me to sit around and wait until she finds the perfect property and be able to pull the trigger and buy it. So if the deal's sweet enough, an investor might sit there, whether it takes a month or 3 months or 4 months, I'll wait because this deal is sweet enough, and that gives her the peace of mind to go and find the property in San Diego that she wants without the clock ticking on profits sitting in her bank account that are about to get taxed.
It makes a lot of sense. I know she lives there and she bought these properties years ago, so she just was looking to unload them and buy something closer to where she is. So that's about as deep as I have, but I just wanted to get your perspective on how to gauge that conversation and how to approach it, because I don't want to look at it as a listing. I want to look at it as an investor, and that's my head keeps going back to, oh, well, let me just put it on the market, but I'm just trying to get out of that mindset.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And even if if we're just doing listing presentations, if you are a good, effective listing agent, you should truly understand what the deep-rooted motivation is and what are the ideal goals and what are the bottom line, right? Like ideally we want this, ideally this would be perfect, but bottom line, if push comes to shove, what are we willing to do? What are we willing to take? And as a listing agent, you should know all of those answers to all of that to be able to properly guide the client and know your range, right? Like we want this, we at least need this, and the reason why we need it is XYZ. I can't tell you how many times I talk to listing agents and they have no idea. I don't know, they wanted to sell, I'm really not sure. They just need the money. We all need the money. That's not a real motivation and a need. So when you know that information, you'll be able to say, okay, is there a potential problem here that I can solve? And if so, there's value to that. And if there's value to that, I can justify being able to show that value to get a better number out of here and be able to make a deal happen. What's up, Nai?
I wanted to go over that property that I was talking to you about, if possible.
Subject 2. Yeah. So Nai got an opportunity where it's a hot rental area here in Miami, Florida. It's called Hialeah. If any of you guys are familiar with Hialeah, they just did a movie on it on Netflix with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. That is Hialeah. And myself grew up in Hialeah. That is our stomping ground. We know each other since we were kids. And she has a house there, and that is a great rental market. There is 0% vacancy factor in Hialeah. It's a huge Latin community. And if you guys know anything about Latin, our family members are constantly moving and we all live right in the same areas and blocks. So that happens 24/7 in Hialeah. So you have 0% vacancy because your neighbor has 7 people that want to rent that place tomorrow if it's available. And it's also known for in-law quarters, what we call efficiencies, you know, turning the garages into a studio, turning the master bedroom into a studio and renting it out for the additional income. So this property has the potential to have a couple of these in-law quarters, the way the layout is, but currently it's a single family home, correct?
Yes, it's currently a single family.
The main thing that you need to uncover for anybody who says, which is what the seller said to her, take over my mortgage at $485 and the property's yours. Awesome. Okay, this happens all the time. So you become the owner of the property, right? We'll put it under a trust and you will basically be the trustee of that trust, and then you will basically write the rules of the trust with the homeowner where you have all say so and you have all financial benefit over this trust that controls this property. And then we leave the mortgage in the name of the seller. The question you have to identify is, do they want more money on top of taking over the mortgage? And if so, how much? We always want that number to be as low as possible.
You know, after processing everything that we discussed the other day, on top of that, I did call him again that same day. He told me that yes, I can take over the mortgage, but I would need to put in the difference. He says that they want $650 for the house. Honestly, I would like to fix and flip it is what I would like to do, but I don't even know if it's worth it.
If he wants $170,000 on top of you taking over $480,000, right? Because if they want $650, but the mortgage is $480, so you're gonna be having to give them about $170,000, which is the difference. And for you to flip it, it's worth a lot more than $650. Like if you tell me, bueno, it's worth $800,000. Oh, okay. Well, maybe giving them $170 and putting in the money to repair still makes sense because it's worth $800 something. Okay, fine, we can talk about that.
What would be the good number for me to negotiate with? Like, what would be the ideal number that I can give him?
Whenever somebody asks me that, my answer is always 0. Hey, everybody, how much you want to give me? I don't want to give you nothing. Just, how big is your problem?
Yeah.
And it goes back to the conversation I just had with Mario. What's the motivation to sell and what's the urgency? Because if there isn't urgency and the motivation isn't super strong, he's not going to budge on the money he needs and you're wasting your time. What you need to do is go through the process script and basically really uncover what's the reason behind selling, what's the urgency, and how bad do they want it. Because if they want it that bad, then you got to be flexible on one thing, because I can make one thing come true, but I can't make everything come true, right? So it's a give or take. What you want to do is, until you get good enough, is get all the information prior, like how much is the mortgage payment, what's the motivation, what's the urgency, and what's their bottom line number, really bottom bottom line number, and then you can go in there with a number in mind to negotiate.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good job, everybody. Very, very, very cool.